with George Smitherman. George, thank you for joining us for our leadership discussion. I want to start by asking you to tell us about the path that you've taken to get where you are today as a leader.
I always think that if the question is in the context of politics, that the path started on December the 13th, 1979, with the defeat of the Joe Clark government in the House of Commons, which within a week or two drew me into the Liberal Party campaign offices in Etobicoke Centre, where really powerful and impressive ladies like Simone Flaff, B. Yakimoff, and later Senator Marion Maloney took me under their wing and really made me at home in the Liberal Party. So I always think of the journey beginning there.
All right. And of course, you yourself became an elected politician, served in the legislature, served as Ontario's Minister of Health, among other responsibilities, and ran to be the mayor of Toronto. Let me ask you a question about a time when you needed to communicate and you really felt that you're under pressure.
When I think about communications pressure, I had spent a lot of time on the edge of the scrums when my former boss, Hugh O'Neill, was under attack in scrums. He didn't like that environment very much. And I decided early on that I was never going to be the guy that there was an image of walking away from a scrum. So I prided myself on repeating as necessary for as long as was necessary till people clicked off their microphones or shut down their cameras and walked away saddened that I hadn't created some grand faux pas that they could run with.
Tell us what is it that you think separates an effective leader from a leader who's not effective in those high pressure moments?
The Ministry of Health in Ontario is the largest government operating department in all of Canada. It's much bigger than the Department of National Defense or other departments that we think as significant. And the one thing that I was able to do was train my brain to realize that if I didn't sleep, the problems the next day were only going to be worse and harder to manage. I think another thing is, for all the time that I served as a government minister, I enjoyed the confidence of my premier. And I think that that was a very, very important part of my makeup as well, in a sense, is that from the very earliest days that Dalton McGuinty gave me the responsibilities, he said to me, "Don't worry, I've got your back." And for every day that I was with him, he lived up to that in spades. So I think those are some of the things that allowed me to be, I think, successful in leadership at the highest level for that period of time.
I think that's very good advice. Now, let me ask you about managing reputation in today's media environment, not only the mainstream media, but also thinking about social media and the other ways that we consume news. What do you think leaders most often get wrong about managing reputation?
I think that to a certain extent, one has to be very, very careful always not to actually listen so carefully to the critiques made of them that they start to believe it. And there's a lot of reporting that's done that really is based on conventional wisdom and people just following what somebody already wrote. So if you get a situation where the first story that's written is not a helpful one, there's a significant chance that there's 5, 10, 15, or 20 more being written off of the influence of those. So that can be very, very challenging.
What single piece of advice would you give to a younger person who's just stepping into a leadership role?
I think maybe my advice is a little bit specific to the way that the lessons that I learned, let's say, from being a government minister. And the one thing that I would say is that when I was in a position to be writing legislation or contemplating pieces of public policy, I didn't do a good enough job of imagining that the person in that role later on might not have the same level of energy or the same level of interest in that issue. And sometimes when I look at the construct of legislation or policy, it was built on what I was capable of doing or as interested in as I might have been in working at it. Now I've left government. I go back to take a look at the Ministry of Health. And I see so many files where I framed the policy and they were imperfect. I know it, but no one's actually gone back and amended them, not in the least. And so that's one of the lessons that I reflect on quite frequently, that not everybody's going to have the same appetite, energy, or interest in the issues that you might be sinking your teeth or your paper or your pen into on a given day.
Thanks very much for doing this, George. It's very good to chat with you today.
My pleasure, anytime.
Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please make sure to subscribe to this channel for more, or visit westbridgestrategies.com for more information on our organization.